Hello and welcome to A Game of Two Halves. Hapless officiating helps Brighton sink down the table. Fulham fall further from top flight safety. Sarri stumped by sumptuous City, and Cardiff conquer on the coast. Sam, how are you? I can talk again.
Hey, that's good. I'm good as well.
That's debatable, but
well,
look,
yeah.
me talking. I mean, you good is not debatable, really. I mean, if you say you're good, you're good.
I'm an Everton fan. I'm as good as I can be.
Are you feeling a bit blue?
Yes.
Right. Well, there's only one place to really begin the week's analysis. City against Chelsea. As the neutral and Liverpool fans amongst us hope Chelsea might take some points off City, the exact opposite happened.
Not all the neutral fans.
Oh no, but
I was quite glad that City did this, and what style they did it in. It was comprehensive, wasn't it?
Yeah,
from start to finish.
It's almost as if there's nothing we can really say about this, because you say that's the word. It's comprehensive. There's no doubts, no questions left unanswered. I still think that if you get at City, you can beat them, because Edison made a couple of good saves from Higuain. Giroud missed a one-on-one where Edison, he shot straight at Edison. It might have been Hazard actually, but anyway, where do you want to start? Good City, bad Chelsea?
Well, we know how good City are. They've been doing exactly what we've seen all season, getting down between the fullback and centre backs, getting the ball across the box, and either Aguero's there or Sterling's there, and Gundogan popped up with one as well.
Yeah, 4 people.
But Chelsea, wow. A fall from grace.
Very much so. Very much so.
I loved Kara's comments afterwards, saying that Sarri's turned them into Arsenal.
He's good value, Tom Kara.
Yeah,
he's good value, but he's not wrong.
No, I don't know where it started to go wrong for them. I don't know whether there was a specific point in the season, or whether it's people worked out how they play, or whether players just aren't putting in the performances that are needed.
I fear that's the latter you mentioned there is actually the answer, insofar as that we know that there's a couple of dressing rooms in the Premier League that have a lot of power.
Yep.
Leicester's being one, Chelsea's another. I don't think that they want to play Sarri ball. It's not really happening for them for a myriad of reasons. One of not least being Sarri can't seem to get the players into the positions to play Sarri ball, but I mean they do seem to have given up on it almost immediately. The players, I mean.
Yeah, you say. Well, what was that 12-game run at the start of the season when they went unbeaten? Was that because of what was left over the legacy from before, and that Sarri hadn't fully implemented what he was trying to implement?
Yeah, I think that he's now, having worked out his players and what they're capable of and what they're not capable of, he's now trying to make that big revolutionary step, whereas at the start I imagine it's quite subtle changes to the way Chelsea were playing, and you're right, they were still... I mean, they weren't playing Sarri ball right from the off, were they?
No, not at all.
And he's now trying to bring in Sarri ball, probably perhaps a little too quickly for the players, and well, I think it's falling apart. Torn apart by Bournemouth 4-0.
Yep.
Torn apart by City 6-0. That's 10-0.
Yeah, that's not good. Yeah, I've seen the stat this week that said Aguero's got more league goals in 2019 than Chelsea in total.
Although, if you're a betting fan, or a betting man, Chelsea beat Sheffield 3-0, lost to Bournemouth 4-0, beat Huddersfield 5-0, lost to City 6-0. They play Malmo in the week.
What, 7-0?
It's got to be worth a punt, hasn't it?
Well, we should probably mention Aguero because of the hat-trick. The second hat-trick in...
well, it's many games for him. He didn't play in the week against Everton, did he? Unbelievable.
And... he's just in the right place at the right time.
Is that why he doesn't get the credit he deserves? Is it because people see him as a poacher? Look at Henry. Henry would take men on.
Take men on, yeah.
You look at Bergkamp, similar story. When you're talking about Premier League greats, we end up talking Drogba, Shearer, Henry.
Yep.
We don't Van Persie. We don't really put Aguero into the mix, and that's been reflective of the fact he's never made it into a team of the season, or I think if he has, he's only done it once.
Yeah.
He's never close to winning the awards for player of the season, or
no.
He's nowhere close to the Ballon d'Or.
No.
Is it because he is, at the risk of putting it too simply and being a bit too disrespectful, a poacher?
He is that fox in the box. He's that person who's going to put the ball in the back of the net for you, pretty much no matter where it is in the box, apart from his second goal, which was awesome.
Yep, very much so.
So like, oh yeah, Higuain did it last week. This is how you do it better from Aguero. But yeah, he's not really.
Is it just a glorified Javier Hernandez?
No, I think think there's more to his game than Hernandez.
I mean, I'm playing devil's advocate to a point to try and assess why Aguero doesn't get the plaudits that, compared to the Premier League players at the moment, he doesn't get the same plaudits as Mohamed Salah.
No.
Doesn't get the same plaudits as Lacazette or Aubameyang, in my opinion. I think Aubameyang in particular is celebrated more than Lacazette.
Yeah, that's because Arsenal haven't had a great striker in the last 10 years.
But just in the media in general, I mean, Rashford is probably celebrated more, but that's because
he's English.
That's because he's English. But you're looking at Harry Kane again because he's English. But you're looking at those big six teams. I mean, Chelsea have had a decent striker for a while, so we can't talk about them. But Aguero doesn't often get put into the same picture as particularly Harry Kane and Mo Salah, who are sort of the players for the teams around City and City's closest challengers. If you look at the coverage and the respect and the plaudits, I'd argue it goes Kane, Salah, Aguero.
Is that because Kane and Salah are the players for those teams that are there to bail them out? Whereas Aguero is part of that team that just goes and scores tons of goals. I think they've already scored 120 odd goals this season, which is 20 more than anyone else in Europe.
But look at Aguero's longevity. He has bailed City out over the years he's been there. I mean, let's not forget
Aguero.
Well, exactly. I mean, I feel that as a Liverpool fan, I detest him because he loves scoring against big six teams.
Yeah, he certainly does.
His record against the big six, or sorry, big five, because he can't score against himself. But
he is a big match player.
He is. He goes missing the Champions League a little bit. It's my only criticism of him. But then, City go missing the Champions League. So I think Aguero deserves a lot more credit than he deserves. But I still don't think he'll be in Team of the Year come the end of the season.
I think he will be if he finishes top scorer in the league.
No, he's done that before, not been in the team.
Yeah,
I think he will finish behind Harry Kane and probably Mo Salah, or Hazard, or Zaha. I think he will end up missing out for whatever ludicrous reason.
One bright spark out of that game.
The lights went off.
City, they've been struggling for left backs for a couple of seasons now. They've brought in Mendy, who's been injured a lot.
Even when he's played, he's suspect.
Delph has been converted to a left back. Whether that's successfully or not, that's up to your own opinion. And now they've got this young kid in Alexander Zinchenko coming through. And to be put into a big game like that, he played solidly.
I remember he did the similar thing against us when he played in the Liverpool City game earlier in the season. You thought, target him, he's a weak link. He's a very good young defender. He's got a good future ahead of him, I think. Played very well in this game, 2 assists for City, and it's just irritating how much depth City have, man. That they could be missing Delph, they could be missing Mondi, and they can then bring in this chap who's pretty damn good.
It's not just left back that he plays. I think
across the midfield, isn't
he plays left wing. He even plays right wing as well. So the strength and depth and the dexterity that they have is fairly immense. Even though Guardiola said in the press before, we've won the title, but we still don't have a left back.
Yeah.
So it is probably an area Man City can improve on.
Defensively,
their defence has been suspect this season several times.
It was in this game, I still think City can be beaten if teams take a chance, and I think, I don't know, please, anyone, Huddersfield do so. I don't care who beats them, somebody beat them. Before I explode, should we move on to Southampton and Cardiff, the Battle of the Coasts?
Yeah.
A quite remarkably dull game up until sort of the 80th minute.
Yeah, I think I watched the highlights for the first half and I was like, oh, we're into the second half already. Nothing really happened in the first half. Although I did notice that Cardiff set out with a very deep defensive line.
Well, they're away from home.
Which is what you would expect from Warnock.
That's particularly away from home.
Yeah.
A word on Sol Bamba. What a man.
He's a rock, isn't he?
He's a man mountain for that team.
Yeah.
You know, he is. Yeah, he's just absolutely immense. He's very, very strong defensively. Cardiff were putting their body on the line.
Yeah.
Time and time
between him
again.
and Peltier, I think they blocked, 3, 4, 5 shots between them?
Yep. And then going forward, Bamba is always a threat in the air.
Yep.
Took his goal very, very well.
Yep.
Love the celebration of the fans. I think it's ridiculous he gets booked for that.
Yeah, I know.
He's doing he's not jumping to the Southampton lot, and he's not going to the Southampton
No,
supporters.
although he did break someone's glasses.
Yep, and then, but as Bamba pointed out, that chap hugged him harder than his wife ever did.
Yeah.
So, fair play, Sol. But yeah, he's obviously got a bit of a character. He's got something about him, you know. Teams down the end of the table need that character, need that leader, that guy to look to in the changing rooms, who's the voice, Leicester had it when they won the league, and Wes Morgan in a similar style, that sort of hardened veteran, but also a bit of a joker, a bit of a, the players look to him.
He's there to keep morale up when sort of like backs against the wall.
Yeah.
But even when you're on the up, like they have been recently, he's that person that will keep you focused on what you've got to do.
But he also leads totally by example, doesn't he? I mean, he gets the goal, and he's blocking everything that's coming his way.
Yep.
Southampton did, of course, equalise in this one through Stevens. A shame, really, but Cardiff just lapsed in defensive duties for a moment, and Stevens punished them.
Yeah, it was. I think it originally came from a deep run from their right back Valerie, which was an awesome run. I don't know why any of the Cardiff players didn't close him down sooner. And then they chucked their bodies on the line when it really needed it.
Yep.
And unfortunately, goal came from the corner, didn't it?
He did indeed, yeah.
But then he doesn't cover himself in glory, does he, Stevens?
I've no idea what he's trying to do.
No.
It's the last minute of the game. Take the draw. Okay, it's slightly disappointing you got a home draw, but just lump that down the field into Rosette. Like, why are you trying to play a pass
into the centre of the park? I'm not even sure who he was trying to pass to.
No, it's not even there's like a man near him.
No.
But the goal was taken very, very well.
It was.
And absolute limbs in the Cardiff end, which after the week they've had, obviously we're here to talk about the football primarily, and it's difficult to talk about the other bits and pieces just because it's a human being at the end of the day. It's very sad for obvious reasons, but I thought Cardiff did very well. They rode the wave of emotion and did very well. Unfortunately, a few unsavoury scenes in the Saints end doing mock aeroplanes. I mean, we'll never get idiots out of football, unfortunately. No. But I'm sure that if Southampton are able to identify the individuals, that they will be punished. So I have no doubt about that.
Yeah.
Poor weather in Southampton, poor officiating in Brighton.
Oh, wasn't it just?
I mean, there's a couple of points I want to talk about in this one.
We watched this game live, didn't we?
We did.
Thinking, it's going to be a tight game, there's not going to be much happening. But the referees certainly livened it up.
Well, there was the constant arguing throughout the game between the referee and the linesman, who seemed to keep trying to overrule each other. And then when it actually mattered, i.e. the linesman had the shot. I mean, there were a couple of ones where it's in the category of, well, you've seen that given as a penalty. There was the McNeil one in the first half where it's probably a handball, but you can forgive the ref for not seeing it.
Yeah.
The way and the play acting after by McNeil pretending he's got a head injury to stop the game.
ridiculous.
It's clever, but we don't want to see it. None of that, thank you.
No.
But I can forgive the ref for not seeing that one to a point. I mean,
yeah.
But it's the Hendrick one in the second half, isn't it? Where he's
the Hendrick one is appalling.
He's swiveled with the ball in his arm, and his arm is.
He may as well have it tucked under his arm
and swivel around.
Yeah.
And again, I don't necessarily blame the ref because from first viewing, I didn't think it was a penalty.
No, the ref is effectively behind him.
Yeah.
So his vision is blocked. That's why you have linesmen there to help you.
Who should be seeing that all day long. It was clear as day. And obviously then Brighton then concede the penalty. Burnley go down the other end.
Yeah. What, 11 seconds later, I think it is? Then Matt Ryan brings down Barnes.
Yeah, I mean there's no debate. That's a penalty.
That's a definite penalty. I think that has probably come out of frustration as well.
Yeah. I am glad to see that the double jeopardy rule is being upheld by referees because he does make a genuine attempt to play for the ball. I'm not. Well, I did say at the time I was 100% sure it was a penalty because he tucked his arms in, and for me,
he still catches him and doesn't get any of the ball.
Yeah.
The striker's always going to be either looking for it, or the goalkeeper's going to get completely out of the way and he's going to go around him and score anyway. So either way, I think there was going to be a goal.
But yeah, it's a penalty. Obviously they score it and that's the game done really, 3-up. Obviously Brighton did get a goal back. But just the officiating throughout the match I thought was poor. It seemed to be every 50-50 he was getting wrong.
Yep.
It just seemed to absolutely spiral. Chris Hughton afterwards, typical Chris Hughton style, very humble.
As you'd expect.
Saying that, yes, there were poor decisions, but his team had to be more clinical. It's difficult to be clinical when Tom Heaton's in goal. How good was he?
Fantastic. Some of the saves that he pulled off, we were sitting there just like, what just happened?
Yeah.
How has he known that the ball is going to be in that position and he gets one hand up to it, or he gets fingertips to it to tip it off of Glenn Murray's head?
Head of Pickford in the England goalkeepers
At the moment,
I think he is at the moment. I do think. I'm not just saying that to be controversial as a Liverpool fan against an Everton player.
No, Pickford hasn't covered himself in glory this season.
No, I think that Heaton is probably ahead of Pickford. He's certainly ahead of Joe Hart.
I was going to say Joe Hart and Nick Pope are sitting there thinking, "How are we going to get back into this team then?"
I think Hart will be looking for a new club in the side because there's no chance. Is Pope back to fitness yet?
Not quite. I think he might be back end of March.
Right, so I mean it'll be Pope and Heaton back now. Hart is now.
Yeah.
He'll have to just leave because he's not ousting those two. But it's no coincidence that Burnley's turn in form has come with Tom Heaton back between the sticks.
Yeah,
the captain's armband.
They haven't lost a game yet since he's been back.
And it isn't a coincidence. Tom Heaton is the absolute heartbeat of that team.
Yep.
The question is, do they keep him in the summer? Best teams but keepers are always a difficult position to fill.
They are.
And better teams will want Tom Heaton.
I don't see a club further up the league needing that first team keeper of his standing.
No.
I think...
I do.
Who?
I see a couple of clubs. I see Wolves. I don't see necessarily Patricio being there next season. He's not been awesome this year either. I see Leicester knowing that Schmeichel probably won't go on forever.
Schmeichel is unhappy at Leicester as well.
Yeah. I see Watford if Foster goes. That's a big if because he's playing very good football there at the minute. But I mean, he's not a young goalkeeper, Ben Foster.
Nope.
I see Tottenham as a backup.
I don't think he'll go anywhere and be a backup.
You could probably ask Lloris in the minute. I'm just saying, I don't necessarily rule out Arsenal need a better keeper than Leno. He'll be on a certainly top clubs' radars without a shadow of a doubt. And of course, let's not forget, should Leeds come up?
Although they have just signed Kiko Casilla.
Well, yeah, that is also true.
From Madrid.
That is also true. Look, I mean, we don't be selling Heaton from Alton to Burnley, but I think they've got a real struggle on to keep him in the summer because he's proving he's not a fluke. He really is the real deal. And at the end of the day, he'll be England's #1 goalkeeper.
On the last podcast, we were speaking about having those strikers that are going to get you 10 goals a season.
Yep.
Chris Wood now, 9 goals this season.
Yep.
Is he going to be enough to keep Burnley up?
I think him and Barnes together probably will be.
Yep.
Conversely, Cardiff. Conversely, Brighton are relying on 35-year-old Glenn Murray.
Yeah.
And
he's
slow.
He started off the season really well with goals, hasn't he? Got 12?
Yep.
But then he had slight injury. He's come back from that and only got 1.
Yep, and he's not looked the same. He's quite slow. He's quite lethargic. I mean, he had a good opportunity in this one. Heaton saved it very well, but you just don't see him. You see Brighton needing more goals, and it was difficult to see where the goal was going to come from in this one. Again, it was Duffy with Dunk. Sorry, it was Dunk with the goal.
Duffy with the goal. Dunk with the slip.
That's right. But again, it's Dunk and Duffy chip in more than.
Yeah, I think Duffy's their second highest scorer.
Yeah, it's a problem for Burnley.
Problem for Brighton.
And it's a problem for Brighton because those kind of players aren't ten a penny. The January transfer window is now shut. I think they missed a trick in the January transfer window myself. You look at some of the strikers that were out there. Defoe went to Rangers. Could he have been persuaded to go to Brighton? Possibly. Batshuayi, they went in for him. Solanke's out there.
I don't think they would have had the had the money for Batshuayi, with what I've heard that he was demanding his 160,000 a week.
But if he's going to Palace, you could potentially get Benteke. I just think Brighton have missed a trick in the January transfer window. I am worried for Brighton, I have to say. I'm not worried for Burnley so much anymore. I think they've got their identity back. I think they'll probably be just about okay. Spurs kept the pace with the title challengers with a 3-1 win at Leicester. This was an odd one because Spurs could have been 3-0 down at half time if Leicester had started Vardy. Simple as. I thought Tottenham were very poor in the first half. Leicester had a couple of chances through Barnes, Maddison, and the misses. You just thought Vardy puts those away.
Yes, he does put them away normally. Although when he did come on, he missed a penalty straight away, or it was well saved by Lloris.
Danny Rose got in his head though. But then he did score Vardy as well.
Have you seen the pictures and the memes around that?
I have indeed. I do love the modern age football. Yeah, on another day, if Leicester had probably started with their talisman, they could very easily have been 2-3 up at half time. I thought Spurs were very poor, created very little in the first half. But they are making a habit of this, playing poorly but getting the job done.
Yeah, and there's normally one player for Spurs that steps up, and it was Eriksen.
Yes, it was Eriksen, yeah. He was sensational.
If it's not Kane, if it's not Ali, if it's not Son, then it's Eriksen.
Yeah.
And between those front four, as long as one of them or two of them are fit, then Tottenham seem to be able to win games.
Was it a foul on Son, or was it a dive, or was it neither? In the first half with Maguire.
I didn't see it. I've only seen the goals.
I see. Well, I think it's a dive. Son is in the box and he is up against Maguire. Maguire steps across, and in my opinion, Son then wraps his leg around Maguire's and goes down.
Okay.
Afterwards, they got quite cross at each other.
As they do.
Lots of finger pointing. And Maguire essentially pointing, I don't know the words, but I can imagine saying dive and Son saying trip. Referee decided it was a dive and booked Son.
Right.
And I personally think it was the right decision. I'll try and get you a gif of it at some point so you can see the...
Okay.
It's one of those where, when Vardy was doing it for Leicester a few seasons ago, he went, that's clever, always initiate the contact there, that's clever. To me it's still a dive, because you're looking, and for me, Maguire stood up, he's come across, and yeah, he's wrapped himself around and gone down, and I'm not happy the referee booked him, because Spurs fans on Twitter tend to get very self-righteous about the fact that Salah's always diving. Well, that's never booking for you for diving, Son, so there we go.
And the penalty at the other end?
No question for me, no debate.
I don't know what Vertonghen was thinking.
I don't think he was thinking.
He's very clumsy.
He's been guilty of these sort of things this season. Him and Alderweireld have had lapses of sort of brainlessness, for want of a better expression.
Yeah.
No question about it. Well saved, good save for Lloris.
Yeah, very good save.
One other point I just wanted to quickly make on this one. Claude Puel is a man under pressure.
Yes.
We know this. So why is he making it harder for himself by leaving Vardy on the bench?
Well,
because Leicester don't have another recognised striker.
Yes, they do.
But they don't, insofar as they don't have a player of Vardy's standard, i.e. a goal scorer.
Okay.
Yes, they've got Okazaki. They've still got Iheanacho. Is he still there? I mean, Okazaki, Iheanacho, Vardy. Which one do you pick?
Yeah, it's Vardy.
Yeah, it's not even close, is it?
No.
That's my point. Why are you leaving Vardy on the bench? You're in no other cup competition because your arrogance decided you were going to play a weekend team against Newport and you got embarrassed.
Let's not get onto the FA Cup again.
My point is, what were you playing for?
We don't know what goes on behind scenes. I can almost imagine Vardy being a fairly lazy player in training.
I think he's also one that speaks his mind, probably called
Puel, most definitely.
Puel out on things. But you also think if you're the manager, it's not a happy dressing room, it's not a happy team, it's not a happy fan base.
Yeah.
Get some results and you'll buy yourself some time. And you had a chance to get a result here.
I think with the position they're in the table, they're safe and they're waiting until the end of the season.
But why not? I just don't understand it. Why not still try and beat teams?
Well, they'll beat a few teams by the end of the season, and it will be enough to keep them up, but not necessarily enough for Poole to keep his job, but it's going to be far easier for them to get rid of him at the end of the season.
I also don't see the point of putting Vardy on the bench ever if he's fit. I don't see the point. And I think that if they'd started him, we could be sitting here talking about how Spurs are out of the title race. But as it is, fair play. Spurs are still there or thereabouts. Are they title contenders?
The gap is 5 points to you.
With a game in hand, both with a game in hand on City.
Both with a game in hand on City. I don't think they are still.
See, I think they are. And the reason is they've still got to play Liverpool and City. Now, if they lose both those games, then no, they're not. But
even if they lose one of those games, I think they're not.
But they've also got the chance to beat both of those. If they beat both, it's not.
Yeah, but look at Tottenham's record against the top six.
Yeah, I agree with that.
It's not great.
It's not. But
yes, it's slightly better this season.
But the point is that their title challenge is still very much in their hands. They're still, admittedly, they've got to go to both City and Liverpool. They're both away games, but they're 5 points behind, and they can take 6 points.
Yeah.
So I don't think they are out of it. I think they are still clinging on to games and winning ugly, and we saw it against Newcastle, against Watford in this one to a degree. I think they're still in the title hunt for now, within touching distance. They're certainly far ahead of Manchester United, 9 points clear of them. I do think it's going to be one of Liverpool or City, and I think realistically it's going to be City. But I think Tottenham are still there. Yeah,
you mentioned Manchester United. They're 9 points behind Tottenham,
yep.
But they are now up into fourth.
Irritatingly playing very nice football. Pogba is a revelation.
And they showed Fulham literally how to play football, didn't they? On the early kick-off on Saturday. Fulham started on the front foot, positive, bright.
Should have scored.
And as you said, they should have scored, but they didn't, and it came back to bite them.
One thing I was impressed with is that we've seen Mitrovic bully defences all season long.
Yeah.
I thought Smalling played him very well.
Yeah.
I don't think... Did Mitrovic have a shot? I can't remember Mitrovic even had a chance in this game. I thought Smalling did a very good job on him, and sort of just marched him out of the game. And I think if you can... I don't want to boil things down to the most simplistic form all the time, but I think if you can quiet Mitrovic, you quiet Fulham. I think it's that simple. If you can get him out of a game, Fulham don't win that game.
Yeah, the early chance was a counter-attack from a Manchester United free kick that Babel and Schürrle linked up for, and Vietto with a horrendous miss.
It was horrendous.
He should have done better. He should have made De Gea work at least.
Talking of doing things better, did you see Schürrle's comments during the week saying that if Fulham went down, then he suggests he wouldn't see out his 2-year loan there, he'd be off.
I don't blame him for that.
I don't, but don't say that in the middle of the season when your team's fighting a relegation battle. Don't already start your exit plan already. Just slip off quietly in the summer. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
None, as you just said, you'd understand that. I think everyone in football would understand if he slipped away quietly in the summer.
Yep.
Don't come out and say it during the middle of the bloody season. Come on now.
I think a lot of the players that Fulham have signed last summer aren't Championship players either.
Well, it's funny actually. I was discussing this with the girlfriend. We talk about the promoted teams and why she basically wanted to know how come two are doing really badly and one's doing really well.
Yeah.
Obviously, the one doing really well is Wolves. And Cardiff aren't doing badly, but obviously she's not as huge as football as us. So I said the reason that Cardiff and Wolves are doing well in comparison to Fulham is that both of those haven't sacrificed their identity in the Premier League. Cardiff are horrible to watch, difficult to play, and sheer bloody Neil Warnock, and it's working. And I'm quite happy to see Cardiff doing well. It's a nice little underdog story. We all wrote them off at the start of the season.
Yep.
And fair play, they're plucky, they've kept their identity, they've signed players that buy into that identity.
Yep.
And you look at Wolves, do it up there in 7th, a chance to close the gap on Chelsea tonight, albeit probably, that's just a token closing the gap, but they've not sacrificed their identity. They've bought players that fit the Wolves model. Okay, but we know there's the there's the Mendes
Portuguese link,
but they have bought the players that fit the mould. Whereas Fulham have basically gone, here's the checkbook, we'll sign him, and him.
Yeah, they seem to have sort of like gone into French football and gone, who have you got?
But also they also seem to have gone, do you remember we played FIFA 10 years ago? Yeah. It was good on FIFA 10 years ago. Ryan Babel's pretty good. Schürrle, he's pretty decent. Who do you sign a fee for now as one of your first ones? Oh, Sarri, he's Jean-Marc Sarri, he's a good one to buy, good ball player. Oh yeah, he's the old buy. None of the players fit.
No.
For some reason they bought a new goalkeeper. They really didn't need Rico.
I was going to say they bought a keeper, having already got Bettinelli in there from last season, and then loaned in Rico.
Yep.
I can't have 3 first-choice goalkeepers.
They've ruffled. The problem is the management structure. Probably before Ranieri, in fairness, but I don't know but they've ruffled too many feathers in that dressing room.
Yeah.
Because the players that bought them up are sidelines and not being played.
Yes.
I don't understand how Sessegnon's out of the team. That one's.
And I've hardly seen Kearney play this season.
Those two are the most surprising ones that Ranieri's missing week in, week out. I don't understand why he's leaving those two out. But even before Ranieri was here, they bought far too many players that don't fit, that don't understand Premier League. They're the last players you want if you're scrapping. They're built too quickly, and as you say, a lot of them are too good for the Championship, and they're going to potentially do a Portsmouth here.
I don't think it's that bad.
No, but insofar as they'll
I think the players that they've bought in aren't. Well, are they necessarily good enough for the Premiership? I don't know. Are they too good for the Championship?
Yes, I think most of them are.
No, but they don't know how to play that Championship style of football.
Well, the problem is that we don't know if these players are good enough because they're all just mismatched together, and you're being asked to play positions that aren't theirs. I mean, Babel missed an absolutely incredible sitter at the end. I mean, it would have meant nothing in the grand scheme of things. And to be fair to Babel, I mean, it's not my Liverpool bias going through. He's actually played quite well for Fulham.
He's been positive for them.
He drives.
What they need.
Yeah, he drives and he takes his man on, and he does try and make things happen. Problem is that he was good 10 years ago. He's this. If you're pinning your survival hopes on Ryan Babel in 2019, and you're probably doomed. As for United, as you say, I mean they are. I can't going to say this. They're a joy to watch under Solskjaer. They're an absolute joy to watch. Martial's goal was mesmerising.
Yep. I don't know what Dennis Adoy's doing.
I don't know what Sarri's doing, jumping into the tackle.
Sort of like nibbling at his heels. You know Martial's going to get away from you. He's one of the quickest players in the league.
Yep.
Take him out. Take the booking. Because you don't want him running at a goal when you've got one of your centre-back partners. You haven't been particularly good this season. You don't want him running through on goal on his own, pretty much.
Should keeper do better for Pogba's first? I think he got unharshly criticised personally. He's a bullet in his near post. I mean, it's like
he's probably not expecting him to hit it left-footed.
It's like the Aguero goal against Alisson. Arguably, the keeper should perhaps do better, but equally, no, you're not expecting him to score from that angle with that much power. I mean, it's beyond you if we could even see it. I mean. Yeah, I actually thought Fulham's keeper played quite well.
Yeah, he did.
He made some good blocks and some good decision making.
Although he doesn't hold on to much.
No,
he's another one of those keepers that likes to punch it out.
But he has at least got a decent punch.
Yeah.
Which does help with things.
Yeah, a collector's item from Phil Jones with a rasping left-footed shot that was saved well. Because I think it was either going to hit the bar or bar and in.
Good save.
It's not what you expect from a centre-back, but...
No, well, certainly not that centre-back. No. Also, it was a delight, because I don't see enough of him. Not A, because I don't like watching Manchester United, and B, because he doesn't get into the team as often as he should. Juan Mata is just a beautiful footballer. He's so easy to watch. And penalty?
Definitely.
Yeah, no question about
it. It's clumsy, and Mata's done exactly the right thing, because he's got 3 players surrounding him, he's trying to turn out of it.
Yeah.
But a Lukaku run, a powerful Lukaku run, is like the Lukaku a couple of seasons ago when he was doing that stuff for us.
Yeah, absolutely.
I wonder whether he will get back in the goals soon.
No, because he had chances in this game and he just looks a man bereft of confidence, and a man who's probably realising that a much younger chap is doing it much better in Marcus Rashford.
Yep, certainly is.
Yeah, I don't think I've got anything more to add in this one, except actually Pogba's penalties. This was a really poor penalty, not just the run-up. He's lucky for me. It's a very good height, and the keeper for me should save it. He's gone the right way.
Yeah.
I think the keeper should save it. It's a good height.
He's
hit it hard, but
he's used to going to the right-hand side, but he's used to getting it in that
higher,
top corner.
Yeah. I think he's quite lucky, actually. Personally, I think the keeper should probably do better, if I'm honest. What's that hiss? Is it a gas leak? No, it's the snakes greeting Marco Silva's return to Watford. Boo, hiss, and Richarlison too. We'll start with that before going on to the actual game. Watford fans were as polite as you'd expect with Marco Silva. Obviously, there's still a lot of bad feelings there. Interesting, Troy Deeney's comments before the game. He was quick to come out and say that they were taken out of context, but Troy Deeney does say what he feels, and I can imagine him having a bust up with Marco Silva. I can imagine that taking place.
Yep.
Watford, I thought, probably deserved winners.
Yes.
Wow, you really are not talkative, are you?
Yeah.
The goal did come from what should probably have been a goal kick.
Most definitely. I'm not quite sure what the referee has seen.
The angle from behind the goal perhaps suggests Pickford gets a hand to it, but I mean, that's not the angle the referee sees. So
yes, a corner's been given, but it's not even the goal. The goal hasn't come directly from the corner.
And even
it's
so,
the second and third phase of play.
Defend better and it doesn't go in.
I've got written down here, slow and unresponsive are our defence.
Yes.
They may as well be dead, some of them.
Yes. Yes.
Because they're just not reacting to anything.
But why has it gone so wrong so quickly? Because at the start of the season we're saying, oh, Digne's pretty good, and this Mina chap's pretty strong. And against, if you rewind back to the derby, we're sat here and saying, bloody hell, Everton are defending well these days. Because in that game we had a sniff until the incident. I'm not bringing it up just to spite you, but no, you know what I'm saying, that it resulted to an absolute freak goal.
It was a competitive game, and I just wonder whether it's got to that point where the players have gone,
it's not working. But what's happening at the set pieces? I presume they're not practicing in training, because
if they are practicing it, then there is a system in place for them, because the same mistakes keep happening. It must be down to the player.
But it wasn't happening at the start of the season, so I wonder whether he's trying to change how it's happening and the players haven't got concept of it. He's overcomplicating it, because he strikes me as a man that would potentially overcomplicate things.
Possibly. Again,
the lack of striker for you was painful to see. I know Czech Tossen came on, but I mean, he might as well not bothered.
He started.
Absolutely anonymous.
He started, Calvert-Lewin came on later, but still Sigurdsson is having our best chances. Sigurdsson's had the most shots for us this season.
I don't know why he didn't get one in the January transfer window. Again, we talked about Brighton not going out to get one. Could you have got Batshuayi?
Probably, but Chelsea... There was a thing with us loaning Zuma from Chelsea. I think there was a thing of not being able to have two loan players from the same club in the same division.
That makes sense.
Which means Chelsea were demanding 30 million for him.
You'd take that loan, yeah. That's worth... These days...
We've been told the money's not there for the January window.
But these days, 30 million is what is equivalent to 10, isn't it?
Well, it's a risk to take on a striker that hasn't scored that many goals in the league.
More than Morata.
Yes, more than Morata, but...
International. I rate Batshuayi. I know we're going to get onto his horror miss in the Palace game, no doubt, but I'm a big fan of Batshuayi. I think he's a good striker. I just think, I don't know, I just look at Everton and think it's so obvious what needs improving. It's defending, the basics of defending.
And putting the ball in the back of the net.
It's the basics of football, isn't it?
Yeah.
Will Silva make it to the end of the season? Suggestions he won't?
I think he will, despite the discontent of the hordes of fans that I've heard.
I mean, if you look at your next set of fixtures, there's a really very realistic chance you could be looking at the relegation zone.
I was going to say that our next 5 home games are against 5 of the top 6.
I mean, you could literally be at the end of the month or mid-March.
I've had a look at the fixtures, and I think we'll be lucky to get 10 more points.
And considering you don't win away from home either, I mean, obviously you're going to turn us over 3-0 now, but you're only 9 points off the relegation zone.
Yes.
I don't think you can get relegated.
No.
Let's not be silly about this.
No, there are 3 worse teams than us in the league.
But you could end up... It's a situation where you could realistically end up being in a relegation scrap come the end of the season.
Yeah.
A scrap rather than any real danger.
Yeah, we could quite easily finish 13th, 14th.
For a club that spent all that money in the summer.
I know.
It's madness.
Yep.
Crazy.
One point of interest. Zuma was incredibly unhappy that corner was given.
So it's Pickford.
Before the Watford goal.
Yep.
So much so that he went up to the ref at full time and got within centimetres of his face.
Yep.
And got a second booking and effectively sent off.
Was he booked in the game, was he?
I believe so, although I haven't seen him booked in the game.
See, that makes more sense to why he got the yellow than the red, because I thought the red came out very quickly after the yellow.
Well, I've seen on the match report it says he gets booked in the 90th plus 5, and
Right.
then it also says he gets sent off in the 90th plus 5. I haven't seen the full game, so I can't make head or tail of it. But the fact that he's got that annoyed and that angry to get himself then sent off is just stupid.
Here's an idea: get that annoyed and that angry with your fellow centre backs and wing backs for not being able to defend basic set pieces, and then you might actually concede less goals. But yeah. On the other side of Mersey, Liverpool back to winning ways. We could breeze through these last 3 games, I think. A fairly comprehensive win. Nothing really to say. I thought Liverpool were very good. Wijnaldum was excellent. His goal is superb. It's
not bad for being ill for most of the week, is it?
No, and that is such a glorious goal, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a lovely finish. Your first goal, poor defending by Bournemouth.
Slightly offside, arguably, Mane.
Gosling should be ahead of his man, not behind him.
Yeah. And it's always a strange one. I never understood how players score by heading it into the ground.
Yeah.
For me, the keeper should. I think he's just surprised Mane's got there. Mane, that's 4 in 4 for him. He's 4 on the bounce.
Yep.
First time in his career he's ever scored 4 in 4, as in
Yep.
one after the other each game. He's on a bit of good form at the minute, Mane. Where Salah's potentially stumbled the last few weeks, as has Firmino, Mane has stepped up and he's been very good. Although I did think, oh God, early goal by Mane. We know what's coming. 1-1 draw. Heading here. Dominic Solanke last minute header.
Well, yeah, you say Salah's been struggling. He had 3 chances in the first half before he scored early in the second.
He was excellent in this game.
He could have had a hat-trick quite easily.
He hit the bar. Boruc made a very good save.
Yeah.
And the goal, the interplay between him and Firmino, though, was stunning. That back heel is filth. It's utter filth. Bournemouth, they're not very good away from home. They don't change their approach, which is commendable in a way. They didn't really cause any problems. Although Fraser had a good chance early on, but I mean it was a fairly simple save for Alisson.
Yeah.
Last point on that, Liverpool did play Wijnaldum against West Ham due to illness, and it really did show. He's not as good. Please calm down. But he is to Liverpool what Fernandinho is to City.
Yeah, he's that metronome in midfield that will go and win you the ball and then set up something at the other end of the field.
He is an old-fashioned box-to-box midfielder.
Yeah.
He's excellent. Arsenal laboured their way past Huddersfield. Kolasinac deciding to do Huddersfield a favour and score them a goal. Bizarre from him. I mean, whether he thought it was down the other end, he just seemed to lose his mind and tap it in. Bizarre. Huddersfield just don't have any attackers to score goals, do they? This is what it comes down to. They just don't have the intelligent players in midfield to create the chances, and they don't have the strikers to finish the chances.
No, not particularly. However, Diakabe was their bright light in this game.
Yeah.
All Huddersfield's chances came through him.
Yeah.
And if Seward can get a few of those performances from other players, then they can finish the season respectably.
Yeah, because at the minute they're 14 points for safety.
Yeah.
It's not happening, is it?
No, I don't think so.
It's not happening, is it? They've got 12 games left to make it 14 points.
Yeah.
They've got 11 in 26. They're not staying up. Huddersfield are gone. If Huddersfield stay up, I don't want to enter into the stupidity of the bet. It's never going to happen. So
I was going to say, didn't you say you were going to donate to...
That's right. Yeah, that's right. But they're not staying up. Arsenal, I say, laboured. They just look a bit not stale. Almost not bored of Emery.
Well,
lost. I don't know. There's not got the
players. I
players.
told you Arsenal would do this last week. Arsenal went 2-0 up with
took the foot off,
playing on the counter attack, which was I was quite surprised to see. You're Arsenal, you go out, you dominate possession, you dominate teams like Huddersfield, but they didn't seem to do that. They were playing on the counter. Yes, they had quick players up front to take advantage of it. Although it was only 2 goals.
It's gone off the ball a bit, Arsenal. Palace West Ham, 1-1 draw at Selhurst Park. Palace, I'm a little bit concerned for. They don't win enough. They don't score enough.
They don't.
Batshuayi missed an absolute sitter.
Yes, he did.
Mind you, both teams were guilty of missing sitters.
Yeah, the goalkeepers made good saves early on.
Yes, Babianski in particular.
Yeah. Guaita was very clumsy for the penalty, not quite sure what he was up to.
No, it's a clear penalty.
Definitely. And then, there's sitters missed left, right and centre from Palace and West Ham.
In the end, the draw is probably fair result. The most contentious part of the game for me is that Palace's equaliser came through Wilfried Zaha, who arguably shouldn't be playing. He was banned. He's
appealed it,
and he's allowed to play whilst the appeal.
Under appeal.
Which, for me, is wrong. I don't think he should be able to play under appeal.
It's very clever because if that appeal is overturned or upheld, then he will miss the FA Cup match.
Yeah.
Which it's a clever way of using the system.
If that's Salah for my team, or I don't know who's good for you.
Thanks.
But that was an option. You'd absolutely want them to play.
Yeah,
of course certainly. You would. I don't blame him for playing. I just think the system is wrong. The player's not wrong. This is the same argument having people going, they get paid too much. Well, it's the system that's wrong. Because if someone offered me $800,000 a week to do what I do, of course I take it. I'm not an idiot.
Yeah.
And it's the system that's wrong that allows them to play. Anyway, that is the end of the first half. We are into extra time. A quick score update suggests that Wolves and Newcastle are still 0-0, which gives us a chance to do Team of the Week, Combined 11 of the Week, Player of the Week and Villain of the Week. Sam, do you want to start us off with the... what should we start off with this week?
Should we go for something different?
Go on then.
Your Team of the Week, as in best team performance.
Yep, that's a good one to go with. I'm not going to go for the obvious. I'm going to go with Cardiff on this one. An away win, which is something we know they don't get very often. But more to the point, they rode the emotion of the week they've had very, very well.
Yep.
They defended as if their lives absolutely depend on it.
Yeah.
And they gave it a go. They played to their strengths. They scored from a set piece. And they're quite good at set pieces.
Yep.
And they threw men forward in the last minute of the game and just gave it a go. And do you know what? They might just stay up. They might just do...
it's going to be tight,
It's going to be tight, but the fact that we are over halfway through the season and they're not gone yet, I expected Cardiff to be where Huddersfield are.
Yeah.
And if you swapped those round and said that's what it is, I would have gone, yeah, that's no surprise whatsoever.
Yep.
The very fact that Cardiff are in the equation and only 2 points off Palace, Brighton, Burnley... Newcastle playing tonight, so it's unfair to really judge them with them. But the fact that only 2 points off those teams is absolutely incredible. And fair play Neil Warnock. He's not my favourite man in the world, but he's doing a job there.
And they've now won 7 games this season. Which at the start of the season you couldn't see where they were going to get their wins from, but they managed to pick up their home form, and that has now it's moved over in this game to an away win, first of the season.
The wins they have had are almost clever in the fact that they've taken points off their relegation rivals, whereas the 10 points of Southampton, Leicester aren't a relegation rival as such, but they took points off Leicester. They took points off, again, Bournemouth are at that end of the table. They've taken points off the teams that are in and around them.
Yep.
It's very, very impressive.
I am going to go for the obvious this
That's
week.
fair enough.
Man City, you run out of superlatives for how they play, what their players can do. They do the same thing week in, week out, and it's up to the opposing team to work out how to stop it.
Yeah.
Obviously, we saw Benitez was able to. So why can't the other teams? Because what they do is they're feeding the balls down the side, they're getting it into the box, and the centre forward, either Aguero, Jesus, and the other attacking mid, not even winger, because they're using almost like wing backs.
Yeah.
And it's it's a joy to watch. And
It is.
you're wondering, how have teams not worked this out yet?
I think teams are just generally either too scared to try it, or Chelsea tried to attack, tried to fight fire, quickly got overrun, were 3-0 down for the new and gave up.
Yeah.
I think Chelsea literally gave up in the game.
But yeah, Man City's performance this weekend, I think, sums up why they will just retain the title.
It's difficult to argue. Player of the week, I think we agreed on this one.
Aguero.
Yeah, done. Nothing more to say. Your villain of the week before we move on to the combined 11.
My villain of the week is Kurt Zouma, simply for that stupidity after the game. Yes, you've lost the game. Go and deal with it in your own time.
Well, go and shout it. You fell the centre backs in the dressing room.
Exactly. Yes, the referee has made a poor decision, but it's nothing that you can change now.
No, we say take that anger out on the training pitch today.
Yeah.
And sort it out as it happened again.
Yeah.
I've gone for Stuart Atwell and his officiating team in the Burnley Brighton match, just because that is without doubt the worst defensive. That is without doubt the worst officiated match that I've ever seen. I couldn't believe how many decisions were going, in my opinion, wrong. Particularly the penalties.
Yeah.
I mean, but Brighton could have had a couple.
Yes.
Yeah, I was shocked. My combined 11 of the week, Heaton in goal. We discussed.
Yeah.
He's the reason Burnley are
excellent.
turning former. Robertson, name your better left back in the league. Sol Bamba, Phil Jones. Just because I thought, while Smalling did contain Mitrovic, Jones was also there containing Mitrovic as well, and offered a bit more going forward. And Zinchenko, 2 assists in a massive game. Didn't look like he was fazed by it at all.
No.
Didn't look out of position. Played very well.
No.
Then midfield 4, Sterling. Yeah, irritatingly he played very well. Bernard and Pogba we discussed, and Eriksen, as we said, stepped up this week. Up front, Aguero and Wood. I don't think it's much to really describe. It wrote itself this week, really.
Yeah, I've only got a few changes there. I've got Tarkowski in instead of Jones, and Zaha in instead of Robertson, because Zaha seems to be he was the positive light for Cardiff, positive light for Crystal Palace, and was able to grab them the draw in the end.
It's time now for the halftime entertainment. There are no tweets of the week this week. Instead, we're going to persist with the name that player. This week, Sam will try and defeat me, and we'll also do a quick roundup of fantasy football, and also, of course, the long-running feature of Statman Sam. Let's build them. Let's do fantasy football first. Let's start with the not the weakest, but let's build the tension up to the quiz. A frankly mixed week for me. A front 3 which offered so much going into the weekend and yielded so little. Front 3 I had of Batshuayi, Rashford and Aubameyang. Fan-bloody-tastic. 1 point there. Etridge got me a good 5, that's nice. Robertson with an assist, Shaw with a clean sheet. I made the correct decision in captaining Pogba. A lot of people told me to do Salah this week because he always turns up against Bournemouth. No, I said Pogba against Fulham and I was right. Felipe Anderson's done nothing for weeks now. I'm starting debating getting rid of him. And I bought him Raw Prowse thinking they've got a good run of fixtures Southampton. He's playing quite well. What a waste of time, 1 point there. So, all in all, a terrible week for me in fantasy football. Although I did manage to get an overall score thus far with Doherty still to play and Sane to come on for a grand 0 at 64 points.
Above average then?
Above average, yeah. Yeah, Pogba captain saved me.
Yeah, I've had another fairly good week.
Yes.
Having Aguero in for the last 2 weeks has paid dividends. 17 points this week. Backed up by Pogba and Salah. Salah was my captain this week, unfortunately. But 16 points from those two. Foster in goal.
Yeah.
Masterstroke. For 10 points.
Yeah, no, he's doing very well.
And then also Robertson got me 9 and Holnabas got me 7. I still have Diogo Jota to play tonight, and Redmond will come on for Rashford. But yeah, 80 points this week for me. I'm catching you.
Good.
So only 24 points between us now.
That's nice. Well done. Do your stat next and we'll finish up with the quiz, then we'll move on to the second half, the prediction part of the pod.
Stat of the Week with Statman Sam.
My stat of the week this week is to do with Cardiff. It's the first time that they've had back-to-back wins in the top flight since 1962.
Very good. That's the sort of stats you come here for.
Yep.
And now we'll move on then to the last part of the quiz. We'll now move on to the last part of the entertainment at half time. It's not the crossbar challenge, it's the player who am I challenge. Sam this week will try and confuse me. Quick recap on how it works. 5 questions. If I get it on the first question or clue, I get 5 points. 4, 3, 2, 1. If I don't get it at all, Sam gets 5 points. Sam scored 4 last week.
Yep.
Guessing Javier Mascherano on the second clue. How am I going to fare this week, Sam? Before we go on, is it a player I've heard? Because if this is Tottenham's right back from the 94-95 season, then let's give up now.
It is most definitely a player you have heard from.
Heard
of.
Brilliant.
So for club and country, this player has made 784 appearances, scoring 121 goals.
Aguero.
No. He's made nowhere near that many appearances.
Well, Argentina and City mixed together, I thought maybe.
He has more Premier League titles than any other English player.
Ooh. Ferdinand didn't score enough goals to be him. Wazza, Wayne Rooney.
No. He has won all trophies in England and club football, including Champions League, in a 20-year playing career.
Lampard.
Nope. He was famous for wearing the number 8 shirt for his club.
Well, it's not. It can't be Gerrard because he didn't win everything, so it's not Gerrard.
Right.
Number 8 shirt. Who won the number 8 shirt? It's got to be a United player. Well, it is, isn't it? It's a United player. Is United have the number 8? Scholes was 18. Scholes.
Yes.
So that is a 2 points.
2 points.
2 points to me. So
the final clue was Xavi has quoted him as being the best central midfielder in the world.
I would probably have gone Scholes at that point.
Yeah.
Very good indeed. Next week will be my turn to have a player to try and beat Sam with. So far, 2 weeks running, the question master hasn't won.
No.
I must admit, I didn't realise Paul Scholes number 18. Number 8, sorry, so that nearly tripped me up, I have to say. Okay, second half then, the predictions part of the pod, where we'll have a go at predicting the week's events. I haven't got last week's with me.
Nope.
So we'll do a catch up of those, perhaps on the Twitter feed. Right, Cardiff hosting Watford on the Friday night. Cardiff at home, we always say it, it's cliche, but Cardiff at home are different to Cardiff away. Watford away are different to Watford at home.
I'm going for a draw here.
Yeah?
1-1.
Okay, I was going to put...
Because I think there's going to be... It's a Friday... 2 games on a Friday night, quite unusual.
Yeah. God bless the Premier League.
Yeah. But I think it could be a stalemate, this one.
You're going 1-1?
Yep.
Okay, so that's 1-1. I'm going to go 2-1 to Cardiff.
Oh.
Yeah, just see it. Just see it. Okay. Then we have West Ham hosting Fulham. West Ham...
At home.
At home. Yeah, again, different animal at home. Fulham are not very good at all. But it's the sort of game that West Ham often slip up in.
It is, but I don't think Fulham have enough attacking threat at the moment, or at all. I think West Ham will win this 2-0.
As I see,
I think Arnautovic is fit again as well.
I see a shot coming. I see. This is the game West Ham typically slip up in. I'm going to go 3-0 for them.
3.
Yeah, yeah. They need to. They put 4 past Brighton.
True.
No, this is the sort of game that West Ham often slip up in. It's all very well beating Liverpool at their place. They got torn apart by Wimbledon a few weeks earlier, and Wolves the week before that. So
True.
yeah, I'm going for them. The early kick-off on Saturday, Burnley hosts Tottenham. This could be a difficult one for Tottenham. Burnley at home, a rejuvenated Burnley.
That's not an early trip you want to make, is it, for Tottenham?
No, it'll be cold. Sean Dyche will be there with his gravelly voice barking around the stadium. I see Burnley putting in a performance here.
But Tottenham are really good on the road this season.
They are, but
Really good.
Burnley are looking difficult to beat at home again.
I think there's going to be 1 goal in it.
They'll go 1-0 Tottenham.
I'm going to go 2-1 Tottenham.
2-1 Tottenham. I'm going to go 1-0 Burnley. Almost beat United there.
Will Kane be back by then, though? Kane could well be back by then because he was questioned to whether he'd be fit for the Dortmund match. So he could well be back.
But would you want him playing if you're a Tottenham fan or player in this one? Burnley's a...
Depends how the Dortmund first leg goes.
Yeah, true. It's a tough place to go.
It is.
Newcastle... No, we'll skip one. Bournemouth host Wolves. This could be a cracker, couldn't it?
There could be a lot of goals in this.
So 0-0.
With Bournemouth being at home,
Yeah.
and knowing that Bournemouth will go out, I think look to attack this game.
Yeah.
Which is exactly what Wolves want.
Yeah. I'm going for a bonkers scoreline.
3-2 Wolves.
4-2 Bournemouth. Bournemouth at home.
What? Callum Wilson hat-trick?
No, it'll be a random one like Junior Stanislas actually. It's going to be mental, this one, I hope. Newcastle host Huddersfield. A must-win for Newcastle, really. Particularly against a relegation rival, albeit one that's probably already effectively relegated.
And a match that is going to be far less mental than the Bournemouth Wolves one.
Yeah, but also say one that Newcastle really need to win.
I think Newcastle being at home, they'll have enough.
Yeah, so do I.
But I think it will be like 1-0.
I'm going 2-0 Newcastle. Huddersfield don't offer much. Newcastle are better at home. They play alright, Newcastle, they'll be fine. Leicester host Palace in the late Saturday kickoff. I can't see this being particularly exciting. It's two fairly dull teams against each other.
I said that about the Burnley-Brighton match, and
we did.
The refs made that interesting.
Yeah, but this is Puel and Hodgson. I mean, it's hardly Tyson Fury and AJ, is it? I'm going 0-0. Yeah.
I'm going for 2-1 Palace.
I mean, this could literally be anything. Depends literally what sides turn up, which is probably the same for every football match in a way. But Arsenal, Southampton. I fancy Southampton to do something here. Arsenal don't look particularly good. They were huffed and puffed against Huddersfield. Southampton seem to like playing the big boys under Hasenhüttl. They've done all right against them. They gave City a game.
They do, but the Southampton's recent run of form isn't great. They haven't been able to kill a match off.
Yeah, but Arsenal don't play well. I'm going 2-0 Southampton.
I'm going to go for 1-1.
1-0. Okay, again, that's fairly sensible. I can see that happening as well.
And then the big match of the weekend. Manchester United against Liverpool. Arguably the biggest match in English football. Man United at home. Under Ollie. Is this going to be their first loss?
No.
Why? Because they've already lost to PSG?
No. I'm very worried about this game now.
This is the game that will trip you up.
Yeah. I'm going 3-0 United.
I think you'll score.
In many ways, we were lucky to get the win against United last time around, albeit it was a good win. But we were lucky in a way. This is a much better side than before. I'm going 3-0 United. Sorry, Liverpool. I love you all. I love you dearly, but this is the game that worries me the most for the rest of the season. I could just see us tripping up, and it's our game in hand, effectively.
Yeah, it is. I feel like this is going to go 2-1 either way.
Okay. You got to put money down.
I'm going to go 2-1 Liverpool.
Once again, we've not got any other business this week, and also we spent a fair amount of time doing the first half. Therefore, that's it, I think, from us this week, Sam.
Yes, it is. Sorry, distracted by the Formula 1 release today.
There is talk of us doing a new podcast in the future, but we're still early talks with various sponsors.
Literally only came up tonight.
So we won't mention any more about that at the moment, but if you're a motor racing fan, you might want to stay tuned. Have a great week, Sam. I'll see you soon.
Yeah, you too.
Thank you for listening to A Game of Two Halves. Please subscribe and leave a review.
You can also find us on our social media, on Instagram at A Game of Two Halves Pod, and on Twitter at @A_game of. You can also email us at gameoftwohalvespod@gmail.com.